Hey everybody, it's the Mad Catter again, and I guess I'm going to deliver what I promised a couple of episodes ago, and that's another round of dreams. So I'm going to try to make this kind of quick. I was in high school, and one of our required reading things was what was it? A Night to Remember, the book about the Titanic. Anyway, that one really kind of struck a chord with me, I guess. And for about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, approximately a month, over the span of that time, I had somewhere around three or four of the same dream during the span of approximately a month. But each time it was the same dream. It was literally like the reoccurring dream. And what it was I wake up from a sleep and I feel kind of cold. So I get out of my bed and I'm in like the bottom of a bunk bed, I believe, or just something that maybe folds out from the wall. But I just remember getting out of like kind of a cot style bed and putting my feet onto the floor, and there was that thin carpeting, almost like one of those outdoor patio carpeting, you know. It was very hard floor, just a very thin carpeting, but it was soaking wet, like freezing cold water, and it was soaking wet. And I immediately look over to the side where the porthole, there's a little porthole style window off to the side, and I look at it and I realize I can't see the sky or the water, the waves or anything. It looks cloudy. And I then realize that it's underwater and I can see the water trickling down the wall onto the carpet, and that's why the carpet's soaking wet, is the water is coming through the porthole. And I'm realizing that just as I walk toward it, as I'm approaching it, I can see the water coming down the wall. And right when I realize, right when it sets in what's going on, the porthole just bursts open and all this water just comes right into my face, and I wake up. I'm like, yeah. So and I had that same dream like 3 or 4 times in about a month, during and after reading that book, which really affected me. But yeah, so that was my example of a reoccurring dream. So I was going to talk about a prophetic dream. My last, not the last one, but one of my last episodes, I was talking about a dream about Freddy Krueger driving a bus and how it might possibly be a Mandela effect of some sort if somebody else remembered it. But this one is also a prophetic dream of some sort. Anyway, I dreamed that it was at night and I'm walking across this parking lot, and it's almost empty except for maybe 2 or 3 cars scattered around it, and there's a few lights, like the lights that you see at the mall, and the mall parking lots, the tall, to keep the parking lot well lit. Anyway, I can tell I'm at the beach because I can smell and taste the salt in the air, and it's telling me that I am definitely like right on the beach. And then I see this man walking from one of the cars, and he's carrying a duffel bag, and he's got like the khaki shorts, and he's got a nice dress shirt on, and he's carrying this duffel bag. And he's got like a beard, like one of those beard mustache things that some of the professional men, businessmen, I guess, you might see them have that kind of a hairstyle, facial hairstyle, I should say. So I see this man, and he's walking across there, and I start walking toward him, and I notice that he kind of trips. And right when he trips, I kind of step in, and I catch him, and I help him up. And he looks over kind of shocked that I'm there, and he says, "Oh, thank you." I said, "No problem, whatever." I just kind of walk past him and just, forget about it. He's kind of walking towards some hotel rooms. It looked like probably beachfront hotel rooms. Anyway, I just keep on going through the parking lot like it was nothing. I wake up, it was just a normal dream, just kind of a weird, random, normal dream. Nothing out of the ordinary. I went to the Denny's that night like I did every night, and I had been there. At this point, I had been there all night because I would go at night and I would stay until early in the morning, sometimes later in the morning. I literally had nothing to do. I was a bum. I was like some philosophical weirdo bum, and for a little bit. This wasn't like a constant thing for years, but I'm there all night, and early in the morning, I guess it must have been between 7 and 8, something like that. This group of people come in, and they look like they're probably one of those, like maybe they sell insurance or something, and they're all gathering together to have a meeting in the morning before they all go out or something like that. And anyway, all these people come in, and I see the guy. I see that dude that I saw in my dream. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like sitting there with my little notebook, looking I'm being conspiratorial or something with my notebook, looking at these people, and they're sitting right in front of me. And I'm like looking directly at the guy, and he's sitting next to a few other, there's a good mix of men and women there. But I didn't really, I thought it was really odd, but it didn't totally set in until I overheard the conversation they were having. And he starts talking about how he had just gotten back, and he was telling everybody how much fun he had had at the beach swimming with dolphins. And I was just like, I was beside myself at that point. I was thinking, that's so odd. I mean, I knew that I knew I was at the beach, so that was just, I don't know. So that's one of my little prophetic dreams. And then I guess last but not least is my continued dream that I had. And this is back probably around 2015. And I had a series of dreams over the span of like 4 days. There was one day in between those where I didn't actually remember a dream. I'm sure I'm sure I had one, I just didn't remember it. But over the span of 4 days, or 4 nights, I was continuing a dream. So the first night, I was dreaming that I was making little tiny Tesla coils out of empty chapstick containers. And I was just taking copper wire and just making one after another, just wrapping this copper wire around these plastic chapstick tubes. And so that was all of that dream. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I mean, it felt like I had something to do or whatever. Like I was keeping my brain busy doing some kind of menial task. Anyway, the very next night, I had a dream that I was kind of riding along, like I was riding along with somebody inside their body, and it was some higher up person in the military, and he was leading a group of people into some kind of a closed door meeting, and somebody who's next to him asks him where the event is going to take place. And he said, I can't say, hombre. And I took that to mean like south of the border, possibly, just because he said hombre, which, I believe that's Spanish. I'm pretty sure that's Spanish. Anyway, so yeah, I took that to mean that possibly an event was going to happen south of the border. And so then the following night went by. I didn't have any dreams. And then the fourth night, I had just a flash, like a quick flash of a dream or of an image. And it was like the classic missile that you would see, like with the needle nose, like the needle nose missile. And I had this thought in my head that all of those little coils that I was making were like components for these or something. So it kind of felt like over the span of these days, all of these dreams actually linked together, and they kind of formed like a story, I guess. Like they kind of the three dreams all kind of came together to make a complete thought. Apparently, it couldn't all have just come out in one dream. Had to last like the span of a few days, and I'm still a little curious as to what dream it was that I missed on that third day. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's come to light yet. I haven't heard about any missile type event happening south of the border. So it's probably just just a dream, not like anything prophetic, but it was interesting in that it was one of those like continued dreams. But yeah, I mean, I noticed that a lot of times, like talking about reoccurring stuff, a lot of times I'll see places. It's usually not people. I don't remember a lot of people, like in my dreams. And I usually don't dream of people I know, which is odd. If I see people in my dreams, it's usually people I've never seen before or that I don't think I've ever seen before. I've had some odd dreams, where it's like, or reoccurring dreams where I go back to the same places. Like there are different neighborhoods that I will revisit, and it's not because they're fun and awesome and interesting, because these are usually like kind of creepy places. Like my dreams are kind of a little dark usually, but yeah, I mean, I have I go to the same places a lot. Like there's a cruise ship. There's a building that appears to be like a hospital of some sort with a basement that leads to hell or something. And there's this creepy Victorian style mansion on top of this winding hill, and all of the people in the neighborhood below don't like to go up on the top of this hill where this creepy old mansion is, and the neighborhoods look really weird and very not laid out the way that, at least not laid out the way that American towns and cities and stuff, roads and streets and stuff like that are usually laid out. It's very different. But yeah, I mean, I'll have, a mall. There's a mall that I have been to several times, and different places. It always seems to be places I go that reoccur, not really people. So yeah, I mean, maybe there are some like dream analysts out there who can tell me if that means anything or whatever. I mean, maybe it reveals something about my personality, or maybe there are other people who experience the same thing. I mean, from what I understand from other people I've spoken to, a lot of the people I know have dreams about other people and stuff like that, and people that they know, and I don't typically have that at all, really. So yeah. Anyway, those are my dreams, and let me know what you think. If you've had any kind of weird, crazy, reoccurring, and continued, and prophetic dreams, and lucid stuff, it's all pretty cool to me. So until next time, I guess I'll be off having another paranormal experience.